All right.
All right. All right.
So,
Hold on. Let me introduce you real fast. All right. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. As always, on Wednesdays, or this is the last Wednesday that people will be graduating from Bold. So next Wednesday, we will go back to taking this to about 9:15. So we got a couple people coming in. All right. Drew Patrick is the star of the show today. He's going to teach us a little bit about his kind of how he's developed his business, or one of the primary ways he's developed his business, which is open houses. And I'm going to just turn it over to you, sir. We got a hard stop at 9 o'clock. Want to leave a little time for questions if we can. And I'll give you a tiny bit of prompting, which is love to hear number one, why you chose this particular lead generation strategy. Also like to hear basically your process. So how do you identify the property? What do you do in the week leading up to the open house? What do you do at the open house? What do you do following the open house? Follow up. I mean, if we can, you can get into the nitty gritty of, like, you know, do you do the open house alone? What's your sign-in process look like? Do you follow the people around the house, or do you kind of give them a little freedom? Like, walk us through the whole deal, if you would.
got you. And I got all my stuff here, so I was already planning on doing most of that. So let's start where I chose open houses. So when I first came into the business, I was doing cold calling, and that just makes me want to throw up just thinking about it now. I hate cold calling. I don't know why. It's just it's like people don't want to talk to you. It's just no way to really get through. And when I first did my open house, the face-to-face interaction was just so much easier for me. You could really feel people out. They're not as rude to your face, so it was a little bit lighter on that aspect.
Well, let's not talk everyone else out of cold calling now. I bet you if you cold called this morning, you'd crush it because of the confidence you've built through some other mechanism, right?
Absolutely. It was just, I was fresh in the game, and it was just, my first experience with real estate wasn't the greatest. So let's talk about open houses. So in the beginning of the week, probably around Tuesday or Wednesday, I've had more success trying to nail down open houses for the weekend. Just because I think on Monday, people are like, by the weekend, I'll probably already be under contract. So let's not really settle on open house. So like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'll start looking. And what I'm looking for is a certain price range in a certain area. So I've done so many open houses. Now I know I have a feel for which ones are going to be extremely active and which ones may not be so active. So
okay, give us some detail on that.
Got you. So I'm looking for a house between 350 and 450 in like Johns Creek, Alpharetta, that area, Roswell. That if it's only been on the market for 3 to 4 days and you have an open house coming up, there's going to be a ton of people there. So those are the ones I look for. Sometimes I haven't had the best show outs if I get deep down into Atlanta. I don't know, that may just be the ones that I picked. But I've kind of tried to position myself closer to my where I live as well, just because it makes it easier to put out signs and stuff. So I'll find open house on Saturday and Sunday.
Where are you finding them?
Oh, okay. Yep. So I'll go to the FMLS, and you can search by office code. So I usually do all 3 GLG marketplaces, which is, if you want to write these down, it's KWRO01 is our office. KWCH01 is going to be the Chattahoochee area office, I'm assuming. And
the Peachtree Corner.
Yep. KWNF01 is the other one that I type in there. So I want the ones that have just hit the market. I always click days on market and have them drop from today and older and older. I try to get the freshest ones because I know that they're going to have the most turnout when it comes to open houses on the weekend. So that's how I do that. So
once you identify one that's attractive to you, what do? You call the agent and introduce yourself? Walk us through that.
Yep. So I'll reach out to the agent. I know I have one in here, because if they don't pick up, I'll also send them a text that says basically exactly what I had said on the voicemail. Hold on. Let's see if I can find one. So this one was for Scott Lemon, actually. He had a home in John. It was 600,000, but last week, I think that was last week. There just wasn't a lot of houses out there, to be honest, to do open houses. So I said, "Hey Scott, this is Drew Patrick from the Roswell office. I was calling about your listing at 135 Cabot's Cove to see if I could possibly host an open house for the property this Saturday from 12 to 4. I have 32 open house signs and a 15-foot open house flag. I hope to bring maximum exposure to the property. Let me know if the opportunity is available. Thanks." So that's pretty much what I
Man.
say in the voicemail.
I gotta tell you, Drew, I love that message. I love that message. I think number one, you call it an opportunity,
hmm
right? Which I think is powerful.
hmm
Um, number two, you share what's so different about who's Drew Patrick and like what's the deal with him? Why should I offer him the open house opportunity rather than someone else? I love the fact that you say you got the banner and the signs. I just love that. The only thing I would coach you on is maybe to just congratulate them on getting the listing right at the very beginning. Hey, congratulations on your new listing at 123 Mill Street.
Yeah. So that's
Drew, I just want to say that you're providing a value proposition that's attractive to the agent, because otherwise it's why, well, yeah, I'm a nice person, I'll give you a chance, but you're actually providing them value coming from contribution, and that's always a better place to be.
Right. The alternative, by the way, would be, hey, Scott, can I do your open house? And he's like, okay. Like, hey, do you have any signs that I could use? And he's like, wait a second, now I got a new job. I don't want a job. That's why I'm not doing the open house myself.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you want me to drop off the signs for you? I mean, again, when you're delivering value to somebody, it's about making it simple for them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, keep going.
And I don't know why that just came to me because you said that, but usually if they say, no, we already have it covered or something, then I'll say, well, hey, congratulations, good luck to you. I'll say it then. I don't know. I should say it in that very first message, so I'll change that around.
Yeah, or just say, hey, next time you have an availability, let me know. That way the calls that's like getting to come list me.
Mhm.
Right? That way you don't even have to make the calls. They're coming at you.
Absolutely. And usually if you get into the open house, the conversation with the agent is usually, if it's cordial, they'll say, hey, if you're open to more, open houses in the future, I definitely save your contact and reach out to you. Like, absolutely, please. So before I was door knocking my open house neighborhoods, but now that I've been doing golden letters every week, I've kind of been door knocking a different neighborhood. In terms of effectiveness, during the summer, I feel like people were a lot more talkative than they have been lately. I don't know what that is, but like I said, I was just in the neighborhood last week and I literally got screamed at. A lady asked me to leave the neighborhood. And that's the first time I've ever gotten screamed at. But you have to have thick skin when you're door knocking, just because some people are not very nice. And then you end up finding that
But the beautiful thing is they're telling you right off the bat how pleasant the experience of working with them would be. Like, thank God you told me that it wouldn't be fun for 2 months.
Absolutely. But door knocking is a whole different conversation because we're kind of strapped for time. So let me get past the door knocking and tell you about so before, it literally takes me 45 minutes to an hour to put out my signs. So I think signs are big. So this is my sign. It's just branded. You can see I have 32 of these, and then I probably have maybe like 15 to 20 just regular non-branded open house signs. And I think the
Real quick,
signage.
not to cut you off. I know I
Yep.
keep doing this, but where'd you get the signs? How much did it cost? All that.
Build a sign. How much did it cost? So I bought them in 3 different transactions, so I can't really remember. It's not that
I
expensive.
think they're like $15 a piece, something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Bill, I always get emails about like discount codes for us and stuff
Yeah.
too. So they're always like 50% off.
50% off. Yeah, absolutely. So I've gotten all my signs when they were 50% off. I've never bought them full price. It'll always just pop up in my email like, whatever, I'll get some more. So I have 32 of these, and I think these are important because they're like mini billboards. And
Yeah.
honestly, it's like I feel like it's just branding to the maximum. I brand myself to the maximum when it comes to open houses. Like what I do is I look in maps and I'll say, what are the major intersections around my open house? And then I'll go and plaster. I have 32 of these, so I can throw these things everywhere.
That's
So
right.
I'll put one on each corner of an intersection. The intersection right next to my open house, I'll have basically 3 coming up if on the right side for cars going this way, and 3 coming up to that intersection on the other side for cars going in the opposite direction. And I'll literally like put them next to each other just because if I have extras, it's just like so much
Why
more
not?
eye catching. And I like, to me, it's like I'm taking up subconscious mind share, even though they don't know it. If they receive a golden letter from me that has the same branding on there, they're gonna be like, I recognize this guy from somewhere, That's
That's brilliant, man. Brilliant.
so that's my goal. Even if I know, I worked the open house before and it wasn't good turnout and somebody called me and asked me to do it again, I try to do that. If they did me a favor, I try to do them a favor. I will go and put these signs everywhere. Um, and I also wanted to show. So after my first closing, I kind of just invested it back in my business. So I went out and I got this. So this is 15 feet tall. And it has open house on it. Okay.
I love that your face is on it, Drew. I
Yeah,
love it.
me too. I didn't realize that your face was on it. That's hilarious.
It just screams success, right?
So or egotistical. I don't know where it sits. I don't know.
Hey, it's not egotistical, man.
Nah, man,
It's
I'm
not.
feeling it.
So
I'm
this
feeling
would
it too.
this all together with the stand and stuff probably cost me about $500. I know that's expensive, but I think it's worth it. When you see it's ginormous. I mean, it's big, it's boisterous, it's flying around on the side of the road. It's definitely going to catch passerby's eye.
Where do you put that, Drew?
At the busiest intersection. That
Okay, so not at the house, but like at somewhere.
Yep,
Okay.
on the side of the street. So I
And
did.
that has like an arrow or something?
No, I have my signs next to it that point in the direction.
Okay, which have the arrows.
Yep.
Beautiful.
So I've been able to put it outside of Atlanta. I've been able to pretty much put it anywhere as long as be mindful. You don't want to cause a dangerous situation for traffic or stuff. You don't want it waving into the street. So be mindful if you do that. But I did get a call when I had it in Atlanta that it couldn't be within 10 feet of the street because I had it like to the edge of the sidewalk away from the street. So they called me to go get it. So that was the only time that I've gotten a call about that. So
Hey, that's no big deal, man. We got it. There's an agent, Sarah Reynolds, is her name. She's generally switches between the number 2 and the number 3 agent, all of Keller Williams.
mhm.
She has a strategy similar to yours, which is like plastering like 50, 100 signs everywhere.
Yeah.
Every week she gets citations. Every week. And she's like, whatever. I'm selling a bunch of houses. I'll pay the $50 fine, whatever. She leaves the sign, she pays the citation. It doesn't make a difference. Like
Yeah.
she's clobbering market share.
Yeah. Well, just to be transparent, I ran and picked mine up extremely fast. I wasn't trying to get fined. So maybe I'll get to her level when I start selling that many houses where I can just be like, it's okay. So yeah, that's that. So it takes me about an hour to get all of my signs out I'm gonna move on my side. So just keep that in mind. Like my weekends, I'm pretty much working the whole day because I try to do open houses from 12 to 4. So getting the signs out takes an hour. It takes about 30 minutes to get set up, and then after the open house, it takes an hour to get all of your signs and close it down. So it's pretty much.
Hey, Drew, can I quick ask why you choose 12 to 4
because
and not like a shorter time frame, maybe?
Yeah, because when I first started, I realized like everybody kind of sits around 2 to 4. So it was actually my mom's idea that we open it up to give people more opportunity to hit your house because everybody else is at between 2 to 4. So between 12 and 2, they're open to see other houses. So it just gives people more opportunity to get to your open house.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep, but sometimes the agent will tell you what time they want you there, so, that's subject to change. So, about that, I do wanna mention, we got these riders that we stick on top of the sign. It just clips onto the top of it. And what we learned very fast is, instead of using permanent marker like we did on all of these, use Expo marker unless it's raining. Because you won't have to, because this doesn't really come off, even though like I tried putting alcohol on it and rubbing it off, but it just makes a mess. So use Expo marker unless it's raining to do that. And I just literally stick it, so it makes my signs even bigger, even more noticeable on the side of the street. So I just have these big, huge mini billboards all over the place. Just another tip. So getting in terms of my material, bringing to the open house, I always, unless the agent says not to, we have snacks and drinks. So we bring that. And for some reason, people who are looking for homes love LaCroix. I got that from Heather Hare. Who
Man,
also,
everyone loves LaCroix.
yeah. Full disclosure, Heather Hare gave me the book.
Maybe not Ryan.
I'm with you, Ryan.
You don't like LaCroix? I don't know.
Not for
Because
me.
you're not trying to buy a house. If you're trying to buy a house,
There you go. I'll get the taste at some point.
yeah. So yeah.
I'm gonna
so-
start walking up to people drinking LaCroix on the street, handing my card.
There you go.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Maybe,
just
maybe
take
I'll
it out
put some
in
in the
front.
grocery store, like in the 6-packs, and
Absolutely.
If you
So-
do it enough, you're going to find yourself a client.
Absolutely. I feel like she will.
Hey,
That would
Drew,
be
do you have
amazing
like a
story.
sanitation station or anything like that with
Yes, we
duties or
do.
gloves or whatever?
Absolutely. So my mom is big on sanitation station. It's got everything. It's got the footies on there. It's got Lysol spray. Can you see this? Hand sanitizer. It even has a cool little sign that she made that I never put out. It's got the footies. If anybody needs to use the bathroom, it's got some Febreze. And
Yeah,
masks.
guys, this is preparation. This is when somebody walks in and they see all this kind of stuff, they're like, man, this guy's got he's an organized man. Like he's got his things together.
Well, that's my
Love
mom.
that.
That was my mom, Bill. She's a little
That's okay. That's okay, but it came down to you somehow,
absolutely.
and now people are getting that impression of you. It's all
absolutely.
good. Moms teach
Uh,
us everything.
How much time? So we got 10 minutes. I gotta. So before I forgot to tell you what I print out. So I have my sign-in sheets. So it's basically, I can email this to whoever. It says Keller Williams.
Yeah, if you could, that'd be awesome.
And it says to be eligible for a $25 to $50 gift card drawing, please provide your name and cell phone number and or email address at the top. I got that from Heather Hare.
So do you give that out every single open house?
Not every single open house. So what we were doing was we were doing it once a month, because it just was, sometimes there wasn't enough people. It'd be like, if there are only 2 people came by, you have a $75 gift card. One of these people is going to win that. It's like, I usually would do it when I got like 20 database ads, and I would do it between the 20 and something like that.
So brilliant, man. I'm so impressed with you.
Well, it's just you learn from experience, because I mean I've been doing open houses 2 a weekend for a while now, so you just kind of find these different little hacks. So it says name, cell phone number, email address, your current neighborhood. How did you hear about this open house? What is your time frame for buying your next home? Are you currently working with an agent to find you a home? If yes, provide the agent's information. So again, I got this from Heather Hare. She's a genius. Thank you so much. She pretty much gave me the blueprint for my open houses, and I kind of just made it my own. But that's who taught me when I was fresh off the press. So I print these off, and I'll tell you how I set them up. And I also print off about 20 buyer pools, and have those available for people if they need the information. Then I also have my agent full, so that I can tell them any information that they need. I also print off the seller's property disclosure. and the community association disclosure, and I have it just in a binder with the whatever transparent sleeves or whatever these are. So I change that out every time that I do an open house. So other materials, sorry, I'm trying to do this quick, we have 8 minutes. Go to the office and go into the mailroom and just grab you some of these from Shelter. They're just like home buying guides. Yeah, Campbell and Brannon. I have a bunch of them in here that I just keep picking up every time I go get mail. If there's a new one, I'll grab it. So my setup, basically, so I'll have like the closest to them where I can also like see people walking in the door. You want to know who's coming into the open house. You don't want anybody sneaking in without you noticing. So make sure you can see the front door. I'll basically have my sign-up sheets with my 3 good pens. I have 3 nice pens. I don't know where they are right now. I have like 3 really nice pens that I always put out for the open house. Just they're heavy. They just, I don't know, just adds a level of another level to your open house. I'll have that set out. I also have a candle sitting next to it and the hand sanitizer. So they'll walk in and it's pretty much the same. I kind of built my own script. Hey, how's the house hunting going? And they'll be like, they'll say either we just started, or they'll be like, oh my God, it's terrible. Oh, and that tells me 2 different things. Either they're new in it, which means there's a potential for an unrepresented person there, or they've been in it for a while and they're working with an agent who maybe can't provide them the value of getting an offer accepted. I've had both cases work out for me. Even though I'm not trying to steal a person's client because that would be unethical, but when you provide value for somebody who's struggling with their current agent, I'm not doing anything wrong by telling them about ribbon or telling them about, how you can add a love letter. Be careful, don't violate any of the protected classes when you do your love letters. That's a different story, but provide value. So they'll walk in. How's the house hunting going? They'll say good or bad. If they say, no, I'll say, how did you hear about the open house? Sorry, just went blank. And they'll either tell me from the signs. So the reason why I invested in my signs was because when I asked about how they heard about the open house, the people who said from the street signs, usually, or 75% of those people are unrepresented. So that's why I started upping my sign game, because I started noticing that most of my unrepresented people were coming from the street signs. The people who come from Zillow or Redfin, I don't know why, but usually they'll put that they're working with an agent. And that's where I just kind of don't do as much with them because I don't want to be unethical. So one other question I'll ask is, have we put in any offers yet? So this tells me 2 things. If they say no, that also may be an indication that they're not working with an agent. If they say yes, I know that they're working with an agent because they can't put in offers unless they're working with an agent. So that's another just kind of thing that I use. And then as they're coming in, I'll be like, hey, do you mind signing in for us? It's for the seller to know who was in the home. That kind of diffuses them from thinking that you're just trying to get their information. But the seller does want to know who came through the house. So it's important that I disclose that. And that's when they'll start signing in. And while they're signing in, if they have somebody else with them, I'll be like, here's a little bit of information on the home. That's the buyer full. So then I go to, why are we looking in this neighborhood? So what I'm trying to do is find out why they're moving, and see while they're talking, and after they signed in, I'll go and grab their sheet and see if they're unrepresented or not. And while they're telling me why, because why is the most important question to ask these people, because that's where you can figure out whether you can be a source of value or you can, give them, tips and tricks, things that you've learned. And why is just you know, anybody's why is going to be the most important question. If you can find out a way to help them with that why, that's, you know, that's where the success really comes. So I'll just get to talking to them about why they're looking to move, whether it's their kids, they need better schools, um, you know, anything they're upgrading, they're downsizing, anything like that. Just figure it out, and that way you can kind of insert yourself in there. 3 minutes, sorry.
That's okay,
So
keep going.
we'll get to talking, and basically, how I try to lead into my follow-up at the open house, I'll say, how are you going about searching for homes? Like, you know, we've been talking about why and what you're looking for. How do you go about searching for homes? And they'll be like, I just look on Zillow and Redfin. I'll be like, hey, I could always set you up on what we call an automatic search, which basically takes all of the criteria you just mentioned to me and filters out all the other houses that don't meet your, you know, whatever you're looking for, your preferences, and it's just shoots an email straight to you, without me having to do anything, without you having to do anything. Kind of just cuts out the middleman. As soon as it hits the market, it'll be in your inbox if it meets all of these criteria. They'll either say absolutely, and so then I'll be like, well, hey, go about your day. I'm gonna give you a call a little bit later so I can grab those criteria and get you set up on that. And they'll say, absolutely. So they're expecting my call after the open house. It's so much easier for me to call somebody when they're expecting my call. It's just, I try to set it up for myself just because it's more comfortable for me. I try to do that almost every time. The other answer would be like, no, I like searching for homes myself, which I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe they just don't want me to bother them, but some people like searching for their own homes.
If they say that, what do you say?
So I usually say, so I thought about this the other day because I didn't say it. So I had a rejection, but I can't remember it off the top of my head now. So I usually say, oh, well, that's all right. And I'll grab my card and I'll hand it to them. I'll be like, hey, if you have any questions or anything like that, you know, if I see anything, if you left your email, I'll shoot it to you. Maybe, you know, if you like it, you know, just let me know and I can find out some more information on that for you.
So you don't treat that as a don't follow up with me. You just say,
No, absolutely.
hey,
They still go into my database.
as they
So
should, as they
if
should.
they're unrepresented, they go into my database, and then I'll still, just like a gentleman at the last open house, he was looking for lofts. He didn't want me to do the search. He wanted to do the search himself. I didn't call him directly after the open house. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find a list of lofts because he gave me his criteria anyways. So I'm going to find a list of lofts, and I'll reach out to him. He probably won't answer the phone, but I'll shoot him a text. And I'll be like, hey, you know, I found some lofts. I came across these lofts while I was searching for homes, and just, you know, you popped up in my head. And so I'm sending them your way. So
Yeah.
that's how that happens. My follow-up has been super easy for me. Like, cause now that I learned to set it up at the open house, calling people after saying, thank you for coming by open house and stuff like that has just been, it's a breeze because they're already expecting you to call them.
So smart.
Yeah.
So real fast, what do you do? What are you doing prior to the open house in the neighborhood? Are you knocking doors? Are you
So
cold calling? What do
I
you
was door knocking before, but then I started doing golden letters, and I kind of door knock with my golden letters. So it's just between getting the golden letters printed. So I handwrite all this, and what I'll do is I'll sticky note because I don't like mailing them out because I feel like it separates me from everybody else who's just sending things in the mail. I'll just sticky note their address basically right here, and I have them all lined up so I can just walk from house to house straight down the street. I'm not guessing where everything is.
So you're doing that prior to the open house so that they already familiar with your name, and then they see your sign?
Yeah, so this isn't for my open house. This is for a different neighborhood. Okay. These golden letters. So that's what I was saying. I've been doing golden letters these past couple of weeks instead of door knocking my open house neighborhoods. Just because I'm trying to expand, you know, that reach as much as possible. I should be still door knocking the homes just because getting, like I said, the face, the signs, everything just kind of connects when you do that. But
So strictly for the open house, you're not doing any any knocking the neighborhood?
I haven't
for
been
you?
recently. When I started doing my golden letters, I stopped I was door knocking the neighborhoods before. But
Have
I
you noticed any decline in attendance or anything?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
I mean, I've probably worked over 20 open houses, and I've probably had neighbors 15 to 20% of the time, regardless. So
Yeah.
I didn't see any difference.
All right, tell us a little bit about your results. How can you quantify the success of all these initiatives?
So
By the way, that is a beautiful looking pipeline in the background. I must say,
that's
that is a
that's
beautiful
my,
pipeline.
so that's my mom's actually. This one's mine.
What is that? The road to 36?
Yep.
So you're crossing out all the homes that you've closed, huh?
Yep. So there's sticky notes on there right now with the people that are like hot. So I also keep all my contacts in command, and I also have this other thing that, thank you, Miss Candace, for giving me. So it's a folder here. Sorry. It has basically, so like Ritik Patawari he's super hot. We're definitely gonna find a house here in the next week or so. I have a folder in here that just has all the houses that we visited in it, his criteria, and that just helps me stay organized. I combine it with my Road to 36 map, and all of that just stays super organized. So, what was your question again? I'm sorry.
I just give us an idea of how how
Okay.
successful has this been?
Results.
Like, how many people do you generally add to your database? How many are
Yeah.
you getting for a buyer appointment afterwards?
Yep. So I've had 3 closings, right? 2 of them came from open houses. Ritik, the guy that I have that's about to buy a house, was an open house. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 other buyers that are all from open houses that I'm on a home search for right now. I actually had one lady that was ready to write an offer, but then she decided to wait a little bit. So I mean,
That's okay. That's just as good. She'll close whenever she closes
Yeah.
because you'll need to be paid then. That's totally fine.
Absolutely. So I had my first closing in October 30th, and I have about, I want to say, 10 people that I'm working with to find homes. So I mean, it's been successful for me. I
Guys,
started.
that's like $100,000 worth of income.
Yeah, so I started in April, and it kind of took a while to get started, but once you start building and you start figuring these things out, like how to make, follow up easier for yourself, it just feels like everything is working. Whereas in the beginning, you just thought you were just out there floating, just doing things and not really knowing, not having a direction. So I actually got 2 of my clients were actually represented when they came by the open house. And when I mentioned to them about Ribbon, and my love letters that I attached to my offers, which again, be careful not to violate any protected classes in those letters.
When you say violate, I think what you mean is also kind of give them, like, you don't even want to say it's you got to be careful with, like, is it a husband and a husband? Is it
Yep.
a husband and a wife?
So
Is
you
it a
can't
family
say
of
anything about
children? Is it a
familial status, gender, all of those things. So I'll have my, I'll have my clients write up the love letter, and then I'll say, hey, I'm gonna fix it so it doesn't violate any of these classes. So
Yep.
It's basically,
or even inform that they are a class of some sort,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. So just that's what I say. Talk to Bill or something about that. Don't take my word for it. I feel like I'm pretty safe. I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I'm pretty stringent on that. And they ended up taking my card and just calling me. I actually had Ritik was actually the one that reached out to the office to find my phone number. So after a while, when you get good at open houses, people are just like, oh, this guy really knows what he's talking about. And to the point where they didn't take my card, but they ended up reaching out to the KW office to find my number to find out who I was. So
That's pretty awesome. And they're starting to see your signs and all your banner and all that in a
absolutely.
variety of neighborhoods in the Johns Creek, Alpharetta area. So they
Absolutely.
keep thinking that you are the one with all these listings, whether you got them or not.
Mhm. So
Okay, Drew,
signs are important. Yep. I think that's.
I must say, man, this has been, first of all, it's been super helpful. I'm hopeful that a lot of you guys that are on today and might be listening to this have gotten some great ideas, even the little nuancy things of like, you know, ask this question to find out if they've got an agent without asking if they have an agent directly, right? So that's really the importance of, you know, participation and being involved and saying, hey, I'm here to work and I'm going to learn something today. So I want to applaud everyone for being here. And then Drew, I just must say, you're running an incredibly intentional business.
Mhm.
And you are, honestly, you're blowing me away. And I just want to, I'm super, super impressed with your professionalism and your tenacity and your willingness and patience to, you know, do it and learn something and do it and fail and figure it out and try it again and not getting discouraged, and, you know, consistently being careful with your money to reinvest with things that are going to continue to compound and grow your business. This is going to be a really fun story to tell. I'm going to show you this thing in like 10 years and we're going to sit back and laugh about it. So I'm just so
Fingers
proud
crossed.
to be a part of
Appreciate it.
this journey. And man, next time we have you on, it can't be a bold day because I'm sure we have 1,000 questions.
I felt like I was rushing through it, so I kind of, you know, if you didn't get enough, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, we'll get you on again soon. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Super impressive. I really appreciate you being here today. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I will see you soon.